Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, field marshal of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this college football championship weekend is going to go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? Yes, this is college football's championship weekend, where the winding road to the college football playoff will finally be straightened up. So grab your helmet and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. In the SWAC championship game, Southern at Alcorn State. Since creating divisions and establishing a championship game in 2014, the Alcorn State Braves have tomahawked their way to a division title and a berth in the big game, and have won it 3 of the 5 years. The Jaguars from just down the Mississippi in Baton Rouge have a rematch with a chance at SWAC glory for the first time since 2013, and a bowl berth for the first time since 1999. This year's game will be a good one, with the Mississippi representative getting the upper hand. The Generals victor, Alcorn State. In the Big 12 championship, Baylor versus Oklahoma. Rematches seem to be a recurring theme this championship weekend. Yes, OU roared back and embarrassed the Baptist Bears in Waco only a couple of weeks back. But that's the Beast's only setback on the schedule, and they want revenge. But let's not forget what's riding on the line for the Oklahomans, and Baylor too. A win at Jerry World and Lincoln Riley's Land Grabbers just might be sitting pretty when the final college football playoff rankings are revealed Sunday. Hey, a win by Baylor, they could be sitting pretty too. And you know, really when it comes to OU, they usually find a way to sneak in the back door. Don't know if that door is going to be left over for the Bears though. The Generals victor in this one, Oklahoma. Cincinnati at Memphis in the AAC championship game. Talk about rematches. These two just met last Friday at the Liberty Bowl, and now they're back in Midtown Memphis to determine an AAC champ. And the winner's likely headed to a New Year's Six game, the Cotton Bowl. Mike Norvell gets to keep his Tiger team at home for the first time in an AAC championship, aiming for a better result than the last 2 years' beatings he's had in Orlando. UC will try and do better than their Black Friday performance, but when that final whistle blows in Memphis, Luke Fickell's team will be spent again. The Generals victor, Memphis. Virginia and Clemson in the ACC championship. These two old foes joined the ACC when it was created way back in 1953. Clemson went on to win the first 29 meetings in this series, with George Welsh's football Hoos finally besting the South Carolina Agrarians 20-7 back in 1990. This 2019 meetup in Uptown Charlotte should be a little bit more evenly matched. But keep in mind, CU in the Valley's pretty good at hoisting natty trophies. And boy, can they sure capture those ACC crowns too. They've won 4 straight. Bronco Mendenhall's Horsemen pranced down to Charlotte with their first coastal crown. But that ain't good enough to thwart the Paul's quest to keep strutting back to the promised land. The Generals victor, the Clemson Tigers. In the MAC championship in Detroit, Miami of Ohio versus Central Michigan. The MAC is back, at least to having a Saturday conference championship game. Motown will once again play host to this big game, as the home state Chippewas already have a war party on patrol at Ford Field. Hey, $20. Can you guess the name of the coach that's led the Mount Pleasant School to an 8-4 record in his first year? Well, that would be one Jim McElwain of Colorado State and Florida Gator fame. Chuck Martin's Redbirds from Oxford, Ohio, are going to try to win their first MAC title for the first time since 2010. This ought to be good. In the end, the Generals victor will be the Miami Redhawks. Still to come on this championship weekend college football forecast, Georgia and LSU meet inside the bins for the SEC pennant. And Lane Kiffin's FAU Owls are staying up all night and day for UAB's trip south to Boca Raton. Those picks are coming up when General Gridiron returns.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Howdy, soldiers. This is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the finest radio stations all over the home of great Gridiron Goliaths. including WQZX FM 94.3, Q94, America's Best Country, in Greenville, Alabama. And in Boonville, Mississippi, WBIP AM 1400, hometown radio since 1950. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the championship weekend football fight. Louisiana Lafayette at Appalachian State for the Sun Belt Championship. Cajuns in the high mountains of western North Carolina. Now, this should be a hoot. Actually, this game is a carbon copy of what we saw a year ago, an 11-point win by the home team at Kidd Brewer Stadium. Two head coaches in the conversation of much larger schools looking for head skippers is the sidebar of this bonanza in Boone. Thankfully, a high noon kick will keep the crowd from freezing in them snowy Carolina mountains and propel Team Joseph to his fourth straight Sun Belt title. The Generals victor, Appalachian State. Ohio State versus Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. Where's Michigan? Hey, where's Minnesota? Just kidding, Wolverine and Gopher fans. Yes, the Buckeyes blasted that team up north last weekend, and now Whiskey endured the snow to retake Paul Bunyan's axe last Saturday in the Twin Cities. This is a big old game for rookie coach Ryan Day. A win over Bucky Badger, and the Nuts are likely the number one seed in the college football playoff. A close loss in Indy, and they're still likely to be moving on to the national championship frenzy. Justin Fields will ensure OSU won't be biting their nails come Selection Sunday. The Generals victor in Indy, Ohio State. UAB at Florida Atlantic for the CUSA Championship. With all of the cold, yucky weather in Alabama these days, Bill Clark's battling flames from the Magic City, they got to feel like this is a Florida Bowl trip this weekend. Actually, it took a lot of Magic City magic for UAB to return to this conference title game. A 3-game win streak to wrap the regular season did just the trick. Third-year FAU coach Lane Kiffin, before he heads to some SEC school and beefs up his bank account, has to get focused on hosting this one at the beach, and a hopeful return as CUSA champs. This early game on Championship Saturday will be a close one. The Generals victor, the visitors, UAB. The Mountain West Conference Championship featuring Hawaii at Boise State. The Rainbow Warriors surf back into the Idaho mountains for a chance at redemption. A mid-October match with Boise was a 22-point victory for the Wild Hosses. Round 2 in the Rockies Saturday afternoon will have that old Smurf turf a-smoldering. The Hawaiians are enjoying their first appearance in this game, and they've not hoisted a conference title since a 2010 WAC title. The high altitude's going to play tricks on the Islanders, and BSU will end up riding away with its fourth MWC trophy. The Generals victor, Boise State. And in the SEC Championship, Georgia versus LSU. Hunker down, dogs. You're back in the Chinese takeout box in downtown Atlanta. Way to go, Kirby and crew. Dem Tigers, it's the first time in the ATL to play in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for an SEC banner. Way to go, LSU. Both UGA and the Bayou Bengals really want to win this game, but win or lose, they each hope a trip to the college football playoff is being planned for them on Selection Sunday. Jake Fromm against Joe Burrow makes for one sensational Saturday broadcast on CBS, and we can't wait to translate what Coach O has to say, win or lose. A late field goal will do the trick in this one. The Generals victor, go Tigers, LSU. Hey, we've already looked at the big title games taking place across the nation, but hang on to your helmet, there's more around the corner. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid-fire picks of the FCS Playoffs Round 2.
I was living in a shelter juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this championship weekend's college football showdowns. Now, it's time to fix bayonets and storm that field with our rapid-fire football forecast. It's the FCS playoffs second-round matchups. James Madison crowns Monmouth. South Dakota State hops on Northern Iowa. Central Arkansas carves up Illinois State on that purple turf. Kennesaw State runs all over Weber State. Montana spanks Southeastern Louisiana. Montana State maneuvers past Albany. North Dakota State sneaks by Chase Forcade's Nichols State Colonels. And Austin Peay gets the winning vote versus Sacramento State in California's capital city. Well, troops, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this Week 15 championship weekend of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week, same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, YouTube TV, or download the Y'all Show free on iTunes podcast. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Just search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be part of your championship weekend celebration. General Gridiron is a production of Y'all. For more, log on to y'all.com, the ultimate guide to the South.
That'll be all.